We just recorded a podcast and it was pretty good. we talked about our top 3 ultimate $100,000 budget vehicles. As you can imagine, some hilarity ensues because there are some opinions about some vehicles that may or may not be good, depending on whose perspective you look at it from. There's also some random talk about other things, like usual, that are probably going to get cut out. So this might be a short and sweet one. Somehow, with 5 of us and 3 vehicles apiece, we knocked this thing out quick. So this is going to be a nice, to-the-point listen. Not a lot of fluff, but a lot of decent information. Except for me, spoiler alert, mine's kind of boring, but whatever. I think it's sensible. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Sensible. Wow.
Colin, what do you got? What do you got for us?
I really don't have anything other than technically we all picked 5 vehicles. It's just that not all of them are the 3 that we're talking about. So, little sneak peek.
So we did 5 and we still kept it in there.
Yeah. We did a great job this time.
Good for us. Good job, everybody. All right. Hey, everybody. It's Sean and Colin from the future. I just wanted to interrupt the intro to our podcast, the one that we're about to do about $100,000 dream vehicles. That's going to be awesome. You're going to love, where I take the boring stance and everybody else takes the fun stance. And I want to tell you that we have really exciting news, and we had to back intro or late intro, I don't know what you want to call it. We had to record this intro again down the road because we were so excited to tell everybody, all 10 or 15 or 50 of you, that we're going to start releasing episodes every week. So please subscribe. If you listen and don't subscribe, we're disappointed. If you don't comment, we're still disappointed. You could just say anything. You could even argue. We just talked to somebody recently who was talking about, hey, just argue in the comments. I like that. Argue with us. Argue with yourself. I don't care.
Yep.
Anyways, please like, comment, subscribe, and let us give you okay content every week, usually on Tuesday mornings. Please.
Yeah. From here on out.
Yeah, it looks like Mike has a lot to talk about. So
not a damn thing.
Not a damn thing.
Whole podcast.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
I would take the under on that one.
I tried
every time.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, the odds would be terribly stacked. You'd make 14 cents.
Yeah, you'd have to put up 14,000 to make 14 cents.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys are all wondering why I gathered you here today. I didn't have anything past that.
Oh.
So
wow,
what are we doing?
Great cold open, Mike. Thanks for that.
Well,
man, really nailed it.
I am cold and open to suggestions about other ways to do that.
Well, we're gonna do a fun thing. Colin, can you explain the rules for our fun thing?
Oh, throw me under the bus again too. Okay.
Once again,
you're the one that came up with this, with the rules. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. So I guess
no. Hold on. Oh. I came up with the idea. You came up with the first rule.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. My apologies.
Thank you,
good sir.
Yeah.
Apology accepted.
Okay, good. I wouldn't have cared if it wasn't. The idea here is much like the top 5 for under 5. This time we're going crazy, and we're gonna call it 100K is your limit. Do what you want with it, but we can't be, fab guy Jesse over here and say, well, I could build it for this and blah blah blah. It's a needs to be a repeatable service from an outside source potentially if need be. Okay, so
now one thing here that I thought about, I would assume that anything that's bolt on we could we could do, right? Like, let's assume backyard mechanic, regular tools in the shop. You could put a bolt-in lift kit, right? That'd be fine. Okay, that's. I just want to make sure we were all clear with that. Yep,
that's kind of what I thought too. But like, it's
but
not
like Casey's truck.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
you can't build Casey's second gen.
Yeah, you can buy his
you might
truck
be able
from
to for
him,
the budget, but
yeah.
He'd
probably be happy to sell it for that amount, I would assume.
I'm sure if you walked up with $100,000, Casey'd be like, "Yep."
Employ you for a year. Work for me for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might be in for that. Okay, so who's starting?
Oh, let's be. The other thing is we're gonna do 3 apiece because we have 5 people today, right?
3.
That was
I thought it was 100 for $100K.
Oh,
so did Mike.
Good. 100 ideas.
$1,000 budgets.
We're going to be recording still this time tomorrow night.
That's a good idea.
Actually,
so before we start, I did want to say, like, I kind of had it. It's not that I had an issue. I kind of had a hard time doing this one because when I thought the first thing I think of when I'm like, what would I spend $100K on? It's a car. And it's just because I think of trucks as being such more utilitarian, not $50,000 or $100,000 things.
Right.
So I was like, what would I buy for $100,000? An RS6. I'm like, nope, that doesn't work. Can't do that in this podcast.
You could camp with it.
I mean, see tents on top.
Yeah, but it's not an ultimate rig. So in the message you sent, it was an ultimate rig.
Yeah.
Which I take as it can wheel, it can camp, it can mow down a tree if you want it to.
I kept that intentionally gray in my head because I thought ultimate thing for you. And that's subjective. When like there was some joking around about like, does it have to have room for Colin's family or like does it have to have room for 6 dogs or whatever, right? But like to me, it's if somebody dropped that money into your hand today and said, hey, you have to build a rig that is off-road capable and does all the things you like to do with your stupid friends in the woods, what would you build? Or what would you buy?
I didn't think about my family one bit in this.
That's fine.
I literally thought about
also
big shout out to Jesse's family there.
I love my family.
Everybody.
I kind of
Jesse's
take
budget
offense to
includes
this
$50,000 to give to them.
No, it doesn't.
I kind of take offense to this, like taking my family into account because you guys.
Listen, man, I didn't say it.
What? My family is not some giant family. I'm not like some Mormon-born family over here. Why is mine the basis?
Well, I mean, honestly, with all of us sitting here, you are the one with the biggest family. I'm sorry. It's by one.
Well, with all of us sitting here, sure, but fine.
Just sitting here.
Jesse's
sitting
cooking.
here, sure.
Anna's cooking, so we're gonna match you, and then we'll be up because we have 2 dogs.
That's right.
Yeah. See, exactly.
Call me if you want to borrow a dog.
And your dogs are tall
dogs. I'll give you a
short
dog. No,
I'm good with short dog.
Lowrider dog.
Okay, Jesse, I'm interested then. I'm going to bite. What's your number 3 then? And
no.
Needs to say something first.
Yeah, I'm going to say something first before we go to 3. I'm going to throw this out for a quick thing. So since we had to narrow it down to 3 rather than having, because I'm sure we all have tons and tons of ideas, we can go around and we can give an outside looking in. The thing that you almost made the list, but didn't quite.
Ooh.
And it doesn't need to be like a super in depth. Just give what like the outside, like the one thing that's like, this would have made it, but these other things I view as better. And so since that's my concept, my outside looking in is put a down payment on an Earth Cruiser. And that's all that needs to be said about it.
I like that.
Damn it!
You can finance that like an RV. So
right. So you put a big down payment on it, and then it's basically a house. So you just put your down payment on it. You got low payments, and you're good to go. You're fine.
Sail off into the sunset. They're never going to find you when you make it to Bolivia with that thing.
Yeah, come try and recover that. What tow truck are you going to repo it with?
That's a good one. I thought about it, like when I think about dream rig, like that came up, and I was like, I don't know how to make that fit here at all. I didn't really think about. I want to know if somebody else's didn't make it, because I'm trying to decide. I naturally didn't really prepare, so my list is just kind of jumbled around in my head. And I have a feeling it might be a little different and a little more boring than especially Jesse's.
No, mine's not that. Mine's pretty boring.
Mine's real boring.
Real. Yeah.
So I guess now, since we're doing the this
honorable
almost
mentions.
made it.
Yeah.
So my almost made it was a 2.5.
Well, there you go.
Because I
delivers.
I ended up almost making mine into 3 categories. I have what I call I call tank truck. I have light duty, and I have the wild card. So my almost made it is a 2.5. 100K 2.5 build would make me a very happy man. It's basically an earth roamer. It's just old,
I think,
and uncomfortable.
I think mine is going to be boring. Mine, the whole list, by the way, but this one, I think that one of the ones that I was fighting with that I was going to put towards the top of the list is like the ultimate form of my rig now, right? Mm-hmm. I was in my head, I was like, I could throw somebody. Let's just pretend that I have to include the cost of the vehicle in the whole thing. I could throw somebody $90,000 and build like some sort of crazy, some sort of crazy 4-link system in it that like performs really well, all the things. I've already got a great engine and all that stuff. I just can't like narrow myself down to looking at it in a way that makes a lot of sense. It's just like, I could just throw everything at it. It'd be pretty cool, but it would still, I mean, I would love it, but I just don't think it fits for like what I'm trying to accomplish with the, ultimate vehicle challenge, maybe. Mm-hmm. I think it actually might be the ultimate thing out of the list that I would, like actually want, but it just isn't. It's like the thing that lives in my head for the winning the lottery, right? Like it's not beyond that. I'm like, it's never going to happen. It's not really that practical. So. Mm-hmm.
So effectively, you would make an FJ80 like the FJ, was it FJ 40 or 45 from SEMA?
Oh, the Beast thing? Yeah. I mean, essentially, it would just be like be able to go fast, right?
It's got a fucking NASCAR motor in it.
Yeah.
Go fast.
Still be able to do the slow stuff, so a lot of gearing and full camp build out. And I think I could probably come in to under budget, including fab bills. Mm-hmm. But it would, I don't know. At that point, I'm like, there's a lot of compromises for what I would actually want it to be for that thing. In fact, part of my strategy, I think, for the ultimate rig is that I still get to keep mine.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there you go.
Cool.
So my almost made the list was an ambulance build. I thought about it, a huge, so I was like, nah. It wouldn't really fit, but an ambulance build would be a lot of fun. You could quickly the front of it. Some of it
creep me out.
Does that mean fire truck build made the list?
Well, you'd be surprised.
Dude, I just can't imagine all the people that have died or nearly died in each one of those, and I don't want anything to do with it.
It would make it for me.
It's a rolling haunted house.
Yeah, basically.
I would enjoy it more. I bring the haunted house everywhere I go. Like, how amazing.
Mike's meat wagon.
Yeah. In all kinds of ways.
Steve, any outside looking in?
I mean, roughly $60,000 gets you into a really sketchy helicopter.
Aren't most of them sketchy?
Yeah.
On some level.
could be the best overlanding rig because literally you can scale any obstacle.
I like that. I like where your head's at there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google how much bush plane I can buy for $100,000, and
we're talking 1,000 feet ground clearance.
Yeah, you gotta also be able to afford your pilot's license.
Well, I mean, again, sketchy. This thing,
He said sketchy helicopter, not one that I'm trained to fly helicopter.
No. You can build a kit plane for this amount of money. And really, do you need a license?
Really good
it's
Robert
test.
costume and just going to look just like Robert Foster.
This is starting to sound like a podcast we need Luke and Robert in on.
Luke is going to be yelling at this, just like I think he yells at most of them. I'm just going to drop this link in the chat so you guys can see.
No!
Well, if he wanted to defend himself, he could just, be on the podcast.
It's true.
He did comment on the last, or not on the last one, but on the top 5 under 5. Just like this week, he commented on that one, his 2 cents. So took him a while to get to it.
Okay.
But also, Luke listens, you guys. Yay.
Yay.
The plane's going to require a runway, which I feel like is going to be more skill involved. The helicopter, I feel like, is no skill involved whatsoever. It's like flying a drone, guys.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, because the drone needs auto rotate.
Yeah. The hardest thing is getting them to sink, and then once you're good. Fly themselves.
I hope you're right for whoever's listening to us for helicopter advice. Yeah.
Right. I like Steve's though.
I think that's the best one so far.
I like this, I like the idea of us overlanding in a UH-1 Bell.
Yeah.
Man, arrowtrader.com has some gems. I just want everybody to know that. I'm just going to keep dropping these on the chat. You can get a lot of good stuff.
Oh, that one's great. It's $69,000. Perfect.
Yeah. It's a fighter.
That's a hot number.
What is it? A warplane. That's what they call it.
The first one to show with the jet is just, and then it's an arms race, guys.
Warbird, Sean.
Warbird, sorry.
Warbird.
Yeah.
The thing that I have trouble with planes is figuring out what makes the $1 million plane different than the $300,000 plane.
Right.
And I'm sure there's a lot that I can let me hear. But
in the words of Jeremy, it's speed.
There you go. Yeah. All right. What's our real list here? What do we got?
See here. Oh yeah, here we go. I'll drop something too.
Sorry to our listening audience.
Audio
We're just
medium,
nerding out about
guys.
planes now.
There you go. Check that out.
All right.
Catch
go ahead,
me in
Jesse.
one of these things, okay?
Steve just posted an ultralight in here. Yeah, you could buy 3 of them.
And they're brand new.
Oh man,
That's a 2023.
Or 2 and a couple good parachutes.
Oh man,
straight out of Mad Max and the
can you get a
Thunderdome.
rooftop tent on one of those?
Yeah. See Steve snow wheeling in an ultralight.
Skimming along.
Just ice cold, Dumb and Dumber looking icicles at the top of the mountain.
Well, who's going first then? You guys get started on that.
Are we going
I'm never
round
ready.
robin or listing all 3?
Round
We're
robin.
round
yeah.
robin. So
Wait, sorry,
one,
I spoke
one
up
for each
the
person.
hosts.
Because I feel like someone's gonna have theirs stolen for sure.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh, it
Well,
happens.
so at some point
And then you get to-
we could do a draft where you don't get to pick the thing that someone else picks.
There you go.
But we
Can you figure out more stuff?
yeah, we'll add that a little bit later to something else
Shit.
next
I
time.
also like a debate style where you blind choice have to then debate for the rig you're chosen. So you could be one you absolutely hate and have to build an argument for why it's good.
I like that too.
I like this. More ideas for the podcast sounding board.
No discussions.
No discussion.
Surprise!
Just ideas.
You now have to. Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
Jesse,
Colin, you go first.
What? No, I said Jesse.
Steve, get started.
All right. So number 3 on my list is tank truck. It's just it's a 6 point.
Tank truck.
Number 3.
It is a rig that is just it's too big. I love the idea of it, but the idea is the best part about it. It's just an F-350 with a 6.7, but it's got to be the platinum, so it massages your ass while you wheel.
We're talking brand new, right?
No, so it can't be brand new. You got to get one with like 50,000 miles on it, so it's down to like 60 grand.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Because you want it's got to have a tray bed.
Yep.
And it's got to have 40s. And the thing I love about those newer generation F-350s or 250, it doesn't matter. But with the 6.7 in it, that's important. And platinum is very important because this is cush life living. If I got 100 grand to drop on it, I want that fucking thing to massage my ass and do what I want it to do.
Yeah.
But I love it because you can put 40s on it, stock height. You don't have to do anything except a little bit of trimming, and you can put 40s on it.
Yeah, but then are you going to run stock suspension?
Ride. Yeah,
No,
probably have a better ride if you got a Chevy.
Okay.
It had a lot better ride with the independent front suspension. So.
That was yesterday's podcast.
It's a
Moving
trap.
On.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. He wants to argue about this again.
Bait.
So, tank truck is an F-350 6.7 crew cab, bobbed tray bed with 40s and a updated suspension, so it's still stock height, but I guess it could lift it. I mean, I got 100 grand. I could go up a little bit and put fucking 42s on it.
Might as well.
Yeah, get tracks.
So, there you go. Yeah. I could have tracks in the back and a butler to put them on for me.
You know how much those tray beds cost, right?
Oh yeah, they're stupid expensive.
Okay.
I don't have enough money for tracks after a tray bed.
So, and then you get your
gotta make a
flag on
choice.
the ground, or what's your? How are you going to camp?
He's sleeping on the tray bed.
I said this is for
just out in the open.
No, so
you can sleep in the back seat.
Yeah.
You know,
He'll
just
we have $100,000, and you know what we're going to do?
well, that's the nice thing about the tray bed.
Yeah.
The tray bed is you got all the different accessories that you can put on it. So you can like slide in the dog kennels or have the pop out sides with all the shit that you ever could need. A tray bed is a modular. It's perfect for camping.
That's
like
fair.
I said, it's for me. So
Okay.
So if I could go next, I have a similar thing.
Can you go next?
My number 3. I'm doing it. I'm just taking over. My 3 is newer, like current generation Power Wagon, right? 2500 Power Wagon. Same idea though. Good suspension, 40s, no tray bed. Swap that out for a GFC and a little camp build out. And I think it's perfect. Like that actually is like kind of a vehicle that I would like to have in general, because I think it makes a lot of sense. You got the sway bar disconnects, the lockers, the winch, all the stuff already. It's big, it's silly. You can get it with a bunch of nice inside stuff like your Super Duty there, but it's super cool. Now, ultimately, again, I've said this like 5 times on the podcast, I'd rather have the Super Duty when it comes to the new trucks, but those Power Wagons are awesome. And like if I'm putting $100,000 into a full-size truck that I'm going to use for overlanding, that's the one for sure.
Single cab or crew cab?
Crew cab.
Okay.
I got to take my dogs and all of Colin's kids.
Honestly,
Don't worry, Colin, we can fit your family in here.
Of all the people in here,
Because all my choices I can't.
Family, it's Steve. Yeah. Steve's the only one that's taken like my son or you take other people's kids all the time, Steve. Why are you doing that?
We just need to fit Steve and all of his cooking stuff. That's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, who's next?
Well, who's next? I'll do it.
My number 3 was basically just actually ended up being the mini truck, either a Tacoma, a ZR2, even a Frontier, would all be able to fit the same bill. Where the money in doing like a full MITS alloy cab and suspension, everything else is going to run you end up being right around 40-50 at the end. By the time you've supercharged it full on 4-link, everything else is going to be right around that $90,000 mark by the time you bought the rig and did it all.
Speaking of people screaming at the podcast, if other Colin is listening, he's going to be yelling about how much this costs without a tray bed. Anyways, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also rebuilt the entire underside of a truck that was fine for what he wanted to do with it.
Exactly.
But it was more fine after.
It seems crazy with any of those platforms, either the Gladiator as well. Out the door, you'd have $40,000 to throw into something else. Like today's prices, what does a new Gladiator cost?
60-ish.
60. You can get them down
50,
to like
60.
50, 55 for
what does
a
a new
reasonable
Tacoma
Rubicon.
cost?
About the same.
Or
45?
45,
50.
If you want one with a locker, anyway, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you got $100,000. You could put a locker in anything. That's
Yeah,
peanuts.
exactly. Yeah,
I didn't think I had to mention lockers in any of this
Well,
shit. I thought
it's
it was
less
a fucking
work, though.
given.
That's the thing.
at that point,
If it comes with it, it's less work.
Everything else, because like for me, it would be I'd still want to deck out that. So having $1,000 for kitchen equipment is not uncommon or unreasonable.
You need $5,000 for $10,000.
No, I need $5,000 for the Red Arc charging equipment so that I can necessitate.
Just for the battery system.
Full entire oven while I'm driving.
It's going to be induction.
Yeah, I would love to be able to do induction plates and things like that. It'd be sick.
Yeah.
Well, my number 3 is slightly more ridiculous and starting out at a much lower price. So,
ugly truck, yeah. Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, you can
an
get
H1.
Gross.
No. Military surplus.
Oh, well, okay.
So you can get a 2007 AM General Humvee 2-door truck with a tent body, but you knock that off. You'd flatbed it the best you can. LS supercharger. It's all fiberglass and shit. So you just knock that shit off. Get rid of it. Except for the metal parts, and you also lop those off. But basically, you're going to flatbed that. You're going to put a medium flatbed version of a 4-wheel camper on it. You've got a suspension is all there and fine. The axles are good and fine. You put 40s on it, and you have all the money for a build, because you can get those for like $8,000 at auction all the time. So something along those lines with a nice 4-wheel camper on the back, something that is comfortable to be in. That takes care of all of that part. And then you've got a Humvee that'll just kind of actually be good, because the Humvees as they come with their not quite diesel powered setup are garbage. But if you gave it an actual power plant, which you'd have plenty of money to do for $100,000, I think they would be pretty decent. You'd be able to go all the places.
Don't people pretty
wide.
Well, not commonly, but there's a lot of people that Duramax swap those, right? That seems like a good fit.
Yeah. But I like the supercharger one. Yeah,
we just had one in the shop.
It's just $100,000, I want to make it go
so wide.
They're super wide. You can't touch each other when you're side by side.
It's such a waste of space inside the cab. It's just so bad.
Hey,
almost.
Well, that's because that's where the drivetrain is.
It's only wasted if you waste it.
Yeah, you could fill that shit with all kinds of good stuff.
If I wanted that size of a center console,
lives there.
If I had that, if I wanted to use that much kind of space up,
flat. You could fill it with
not
13
flat.
iPads
It has
and like 6 rugged radios. Yeah,
it's not flat. It has
Modern
a giant
cars that go
like
that
top
wide do
kick.
not-
Like it's a fucking van. If I wanted to sit right next to the motor, I'd get a van. And then I wouldn't have this extra shit hanging out the front.
Now are just so massive.
I agree
Hold
with
on.
you, Mike. I like your number 3. I love it.
look at this. The Transcendental is fucking flat. It's a goddamn table. I used to ride in these all the time. We used to use them for all kinds of dumb shit. We would eat there.
Mike is playing dice in a Humvee.
Like, we'd play spades regularly. But yeah, there's plenty of room. So anyway, there's a lot of space to be used there for that trans stuff. But I think that I would definitely want noise. I'd want a supercharger one.
We got $100,000. You can get rid of that noise.
I don't know, man.
You getting underneath it.
Old military stuff is such a terrible like amount of like noise and like uncomfortability built in. Like it's a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's like when you see guys in their old Unimogs and they've got to wear, race headsets to talk to one another because it's so noisy inside the cabs. Those things, you know,
that's
it's
part
just
of the
like
fun.
that's not Jesse. That's not fun. That's
to talk back to each other.
You want to do that?
Talk to Steve and his ultralight
8 to 10 hours.
I rode in these for 5 years when I was in the Marine Corps. I was in them all the time, and all we did was talk shit to each other and have a great time. I was in my mid-20s, so maybe
that's all you can do in it when it's that loud. Just talk shit to each other.
Yeah, sounds
we have a skewed reality because
all get out.
I was in my younger days, but it was never bad. I was never mad about it, and I rode the back a ton of times, and it wasn't even that bad. You're on a bench seat, you could fall out at any time.
Well, yeah, 20-year-old Mike is a little different
Mr.
than
Luxury.
40-year-old Mike with kids and wife and shit like that. So, and dogs.
I got 4 more years before I'm 40. Don't you age me like that, Ricky
Fucking
Bobby.
close enough.
I'll say I'm 50.
Well, my 3
All right,
is the most realistic out of everyone's choices here.
I can't wait for Mike to yell at you in just a second because I can just tell whatever you say, he's going to yell at you.
But so literally any Montero, you can spend up as high as you want and then use the rest of the money for fuel and food and just travel. You guess what? You've got $100,000 budget to actually use the car now, not just get it.
I like it.
Isn't that why we're getting them? Is to use them? Now you've got a year off.
You just set us all up and then fucking cheated. So
you've got a year off of work. Just go use it, man. Like it's as simple as that. Like
that's an interesting one.
I mean,
it's an interesting take. I didn't think about that.
This brought to you by the man that had an honorable mention of an Earth cruiser.
Yeah.
Both ends.
I'm just saying,
in Colin's defense, he did say the most realistic of them.
I mean, in theory, I like it.
Yeah. It's the most grounded.
You'd be spending, 10 to 20 at most, and you could either buy one that's already set, like completely set, or build one up that's pretty decent, and just be totally happy. What wouldn't it do? You don't even need to sass it.
Like an ultralight?
Right. It wouldn't fly, and that's it. Like, you wouldn't even need to do a solid axle swap necessarily. Like, you could just go fucking use it, man. Like, and build it in any way you want.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take an IED like Mike's Humvee.
Yeah, they don't either. Soft doors, real explodey. Here's the only thing I'm going to call on that, because if any of us had $100,000, do you think we wouldn't be spending it on just more cars? Nobody's taking that vacation in this friend group. We're just gonna have like $100,000, a 3-week vacation, and then like all of a sudden there's a BMW M3 in the driveway.
I don't know, man.
Or,
I don't know that I would do a Montero and then take the year off, but like I might spend up a little bit more for something else, but I would absolutely take as much time off as I could. You think I want to work? Nobody wants to work anymore. We know that.
So if
you put it in an investment account, yeah.
In this scenario, we have no car, right?
Oh, I kind of
put yourself in
pitch that as
someone gave me if someone gave me $100,000 and they said and I was carless or whatever, I would buy one of your guys' cars that it's already done for probably 50, 60, and then just go see you later and do the Colin thing and have
exactly
$40,000 to go use the thing that you guys never had time to, and then you'd go fuck.
Fine. Then I'm gonna redo my number 3. Hold on, I'm gonna redo my number 3.
No, there's no takesy backsies.
I'm gonna invest it in a Roth IRA, and then once it's matured enough, I will buy my Earth Cruiser with cash.
No, you're doing that wrong. What you need is rental properties.
And
because with 4 rental properties at the age of 20, you should be able to pay for yourself living for free.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, goddamn.
So who's number 2? Anybody got number 2?
I was first. So, number 2 for me is what I consider the light duty category. So it's not a heavy duty, it's not a tank truck, but it's a G-Wagon on portals and 40s.
Oh, I like
there
that. I like that a lot.
Fucking classy, comfortable. The fucking thing is indestructible. It will go anywhere, and it's on goddamn portals, so it's a mile high. Well, the important parts are a mile high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you're right in class. I love it. Like, it's just
get a little bit later one that's got like all of the fancy Range Rover competition stuff in it, and it still has all the good bits in it, like the one that Ben Massey's selling.
Yeah,
you're set.
And easily obtainable for $100,000 is a fancy G-Wagon on portals and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dream.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. That's a good one.
Cool. No argument. Great. Next person.
Okay.
We're not going to yell about this one. We all agree.
But you know what? I got a problem with that. No, I'm just kidding. That's a great idea.
I'm sorry. If you have a problem with the G-Wagon on portals and 40s, we probably all shouldn't be friends at that point in time.
I'm just mad that I didn't think about it.
Furher liked writing in his,
Oh, man. That's the wrong generation, sir.
No, I'm just kidding.
So mine...
I did not see that coming.
My number 2 is... Well, we just skip right past. Is also boring, but I think makes a lot of sense. It's a Gladiator, a Rubicon, maybe a slightly used, maybe a current, depending on budget, like how you can buy it. Set of good axles, 40s, suspension, again, GFC. That's it. Like it's so set up. Mike and I were just talking about this the other day. Like if you have this kind of budget and you want a turnkey off-roader, campable vehicle, able to drive every day, how do you beat a Gladiator? Like it just works so well. It's got so much.
My number 2 also.
And on the GFC front, so I got a quote just because I went through the process and sent a message to Mitz Alloy, and it's only $16,000 for their flatbed conversion for any of those rigs, and that's including the basically a full cover, but doesn't have the inside all trade out. You can do that all yourself.
Yeah,
and it's got the fold down side. That's like
pretty cool,
fully modular and sick. But it's only about $16,000 to $17,000.
In my head, that part of my budget was like Dynatrac 60s, so that I could wheel the hell out of it and be fine.
Yeah. Because what's a GFC cost though? Isn't it $10,000?
Yeah, roughly.
It can, depending on size and options,
or $89.99.
They start at like $7 7.7 for like the mid-size 5-foot bed with no options.
But if you have $100,000 to spend, you're also going to get the bat wing. You're also going to get the side windows. You're going to get the fold up side.
7,700 base price.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean, and there's not that many options on those. That. I think that's a good. You said 7. You're right.
I did not say 7. I said 7.7.
Oh, well, perfect. I'm sorry. Yeah. I misheard you.
Good thing we're recording. We can go back and listen to this.
Play the tape back.
Yeah, roll it back. Okay,
well,
so I'll just before I'll cut line from Steve here real quick because Mike already mentioned that it was his number 2 as well.
That was mine.
Sort of almost the same as that, but also sort of the same as Steve's. I just went more specific and I said ZR2, Colorado, and do whatever the heck you want to do to it because you've got the money to do to it. Pick your choice of topper, whether it's a Super Pacific, a GFC, a Harker, whatever you like. Get that. Likely still have money left over to at least use it on one really big long trip. If you
make sure make sure you patch the frame on the crumple zone so you don't end up like the other Colorado guys that went bink. There was a big rash of those happening when people put campers in them.
Well, these aren't campers; they're toppers.
But you're gonna fill it full of gear, and you're gonna bring your stuff, and you're gonna have some batteries, and so
that's still not that much weight.
They make a patch kit to make it. They make a patch kit for it because it was such a problem so regularly.
Yeah, and that may have been the early ones too. Because you can, I think they may have figured out a update for that for the facelift ones, or even the brand new ones.
19. Yeah, I had my 19, and it had a secondary sheet added last minute to the owner's manual that was just like tucked in there in the right size, and it would fall out all the time. But it was like this big thing about you cannot put any kind of camper on the bed of this truck because X, Y, and Z. It'll always do this, and it's like not rated for any campers ever, no matter what. Well, they really tried to cover their butt.
Yeah. Well,
it's still one of the most off-road capable IFS rigs off the lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I bet. Almost as comfortable to ride in as a Super Duty.
God damn it, Mike.
I have the J201 on my list.
I'll call you after this.
2. It was Mercedes G-Wagon or the J201.
I like it.
Well, we're all real boring at number 2s here, aren't we?
I thought mine was fucking fantastic. So let me into chalk. This little sum of yours.
A lot of chalk on 2, but that's fine though, because
I saved all my chips for number 1.
My number 1, I'm really excited about.
My number 1 is more boring than my number 2. So
wow, so Sean's got more boring. Okay,
way to go, Sean. Let's keep.
I told you that it was boring.
Okay, well then, if it's since you've already admitted it's boring, we'll just skip the order. Do your boring one, and then we'll get to the good stuff.
Oh, good. Yeah, so it's a Troopy. And shout out to Fit Garage. It's not the $100,000 Troopy that's been making its way all over their Instagram recently, but I think you can import and build a reasonable Troopy. Something with a pop top, 35s, pretty stock otherwise, factory lockers, that kind of stuff. Or ARBs. 100,000 goes just the right amount on a Troopy. And I know it's not the best off-road rig, but in my head, if I have that rig, I can fuck off for a few weeks out of the year and go to Baja or something. And I really like that part of it. I can live out of it, but I could also do everything that we normally do. And I could run it on some trails and whatever. It's not ever going to be as capable as my rig is now. But it gets 90% of the way. And I think that's good enough. And again, in my head, when I think about this challenge, I still have the 80. Just yard the 10 off of that. Don't use it for camping. It's only for off-road. Bingo. Everything is perfect.
That's a good one. Did we skip Steve's too?
We did, yeah.
No, it was the J2 one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I missed.
Because it was
you'd have about $20,000 left over to soup it up, which
Yeah.
shit.
She left me for not paying attention or something. I don't know. I wasn't listening.
Yeah, good job.
Well, yeah, Sean, that is pretty boring. I get it though. I love a troopy, and you don't need to yard the 10 off the 80 because you could put those fancy pop tops on.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I would put the tent.
You just get rid of the tent.
I just get rid of that altogether because I don't need it anymore.
You don't need it anymore.
Long gone.
I'm sleeping inside of my troop carrier.
There you go. All right. Well, I guess, are you guys ready for the wild card? My number one?
I love your categories.
Yeah, let's
Number
hear it.
one, the wild card. Toyota Trekker. So it was, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Trekker before,
Yeah.
but it is the forerunner that Toyota came out with to compete with the Bronco and the K5. I fucking love them. I think they are one of the coolest looking rigs that were ever made by Toyota. And if I had $100,000, I could pick one of those up for $20,000. That's already halfway decent. 40s or tons and 40s and lockers and whatever the hell you want to do to it, and still have a little bit money left over to go travel around. But I absolutely love the Trekker, and that is my wild card number one.
That's a good one.
Okay.
I like those.
Okay.
Have you seen the people that have the what do you call that? The Toyota based RV that's on the 80 series chassis, and they're traveling all over the world with it, or all over.
It starts with a C. I can't remember
Chinook.
the name of it.
It's a Chinook.
Chinook.
That's right.
Thank you.
It's got like a 3.4 V6 is 5VZFE FE 5VZFE.
I'm just gonna trust you on that one.
Sure, something like that. Anyways, nobody cares. It's got that. It's on an 80 series chassis. It's super cool. It's not a Trekker, but it's that same like first gen Toyota pickup front, and I think they're super cool. That's a really cool rig.
The Chinook started with the second gen. The first gen actually has 4 lights, and it is the cutest. I almost thought about putting it on my list, but it actually is more appropriately a mini truck, not a wheeler.
Okay.
So the second gen is the one you're thinking of, that they started the Chinook. Then the third gen is the one that is like the Trekker, like I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah. So, yep. I see what you mean.
But yeah, you're talking about that white one, the Chinook, that's blowing up the internet.
Yep,
yeah.
It's so cool.
That thing's fucking cool. That thing's real cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it fits in our budgets too. But anyways, Mike, what do you got?
There.
So my number one, if I had $100,000, and this kind of fits into the, I'd have money left over, not a ton, but I'd have some.
Man, we're all so responsible.
Yeah, we're very frugal.
This is my whole thought. Like Sean was talking about, I wanted something that I could take to Baja. I could put a motorcycle on the back. I could tow a Jeep with it. I could do whatever I got to do, and I could bring that with me. But my number one is a Fuso. Those Mitsubishi cab over 4x4 flatbed trucks. You can get, they're all over the place, but $50,000 will get you one with 40,000 miles this year. One was sold for that, so you can get them around that. And it already had an aluminum flatbed on it. And then you go buy yourself a $10,000 2014 Jayco Swift, a bumper full of camper, and you just set it right on top of the flatbed. People do it all the time. Yep. You set it right on top of the flatbed, and now you have all the benefits, none of the drawbacks, except a lot of height.
That's that guy brought one to the Adventure Mobile Roundup, not this past year, but the year before. That blue one, and it had a Scamp trailer on the back of it.
Yes, Sean, just like that. So it's basically the poor man's Earth Roamer. Like, we're just ready to go,
cruiser,
enjoy it. I don't know how much that one cost.
Earth Roamer is Ford based. No, Earth Roamer is Ford. Is the series platform. Earth Cruiser uses the Fuso platform.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say in the first place.
That one that I just posted, $68,000. So room in the budget.
So now you go to Baja with your motorcycles that you bought with the rest of your budget and enjoy yourself for a while.
That's a lot of margaritas.
You're too old for a motorcycle. Get a side by side.
Turns out now that I'm 55 years old or something, I've been aged out of having a motorcycle anymore.
Yeah, close enough.
You got a side by side now.
You don't want to break your hip, Mike.
Now, I already have a bad ankle and a bad knee. What else am I going to do?
Die.
But I feel like that gets you a whole bunch.
Christ.
I mean, age is catching up to him. He already added 15 years to my 2 that I gave him.
I'm already. I've had back surgery. You might as well put me out to pasture.
Yeah. All right, Steve. What's your number 1?
All right, who's next?
I'd get the they made a patrol, a GQ patrol that had a RB30 in it, and I would do anything I could to get one of those imported over here, and that would basically take the cake. That or any maybe one of the Y62s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they did. I think they had one with a TV48 as well, and I think those. But any patrol GQ. There's a few GUs that I would do, but if I'm getting that imported, I'm going to want to spend the money and import GQ diffs as long with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the patrol's awesome.
The parts are going to have to come from some other place, so it's not only just import tax on the car, but it's probably going to be freight on getting parts shipped over here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I love a good GQ.
But I feel like bare bones stock, a GQ patrol, holy shit. There's really not much better you need. It's as big as a platform. You just bolt shit to it and go.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's Nissan's 80 series. I mean, that's what the patrol was. That is their competition for it, and the places that got them will argue to the death of which one's better to have. So we don't get to make those arguments because we didn't get them. So
no, they had
80 wins.
America.
A TD42 as well, the turbo diesel inline 6.
They're super cool.
But that had problems though, right?
I think they're pretty okay.
Were they okay?
Yeah, I don't know
a
ton about them, but they seem to be the popular one. So
yeah,
I know it was a motor they put in a lot of them, but
all of our Australian audience can chime in on that.
Yeah, tell me all about it.
To let us know,
please do,
mate.
Mate, yes,
mate.
Okay, well, I guess
Colin.
it's
bring us home
for number 1 here. And my bias, I'm gonna slap it out on the table here for you. I'm going with a
5 Monteros.
No, a
classic.
Montero, please.
Double cab Defender. Double cab Defender, LS swap, and and just build out the freaking tray for however you wanted to. And it's You're hard pressed to find anything that looks better. You'd be hard pressed to find anything that wouldn't do what that would do. I mean, it's great, and it's a Land Rover, and
they're amazing.
You know how I am about Land Rovers, so I can't help but put that at number 1. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good. Man, that was a good. You and Jesse had some good taste on there. Jesse, in his weird way of deciphering it into like a bunch of weird categories, but like good taste.
Well, if there's anything I have, it's taste. We know that.
Of course, yeah. You never let us forget.
Right. Yeah.
I was going to make an argument about my taste, but I do have flashing red and green lights behind me on a JK.
You got some poor taste. Yeah. That was. Which, speaking of that, actually, I didn't get to mention it. The advantage to choosing a ZR2 or a different truck over the Gladiator platform would be you're not going to get ducked at any point ever when you're out wheeling and camping and things like that. So, I mean, if you wanted, to do that.
I'm currently ordering 1,000 ducks, and off Temu, it'll be like 14 cents or something to have them shipped from China. I'm going to duck you every time we go anywhere from now on, just so you can have it, so you can know what it's like. And,
It's going to be great. It's going to get so ducked.
You can't duck people that don't have Wranglers. That's the thing.
Oh, you can.
You have 2 of them.
We keep putting angry eye stickers on your Jeep.
I think your name is on the title.
By the time we're camping, will I?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Good
move.
By the time any of us have $100,000 rig, he won't have them.
Yeah. So, that's part of Mike's budget is ducks.
Yeah, ducks.
So since we have some time, I want to give what was the alternate thing? God, I lost
honorable mention.
Yep, honorable mention to my honorable mention. I was going to throw a
outside looking in.
mine.
So this is the outside looking in.
Yeah. Outside looking in. A sportsmobile was on my list, and I basically just mentally kicked it off every time because I started thinking about the way we were using these, and I thought, probably not. That's what I swapped the Troopy up for, really, because those are kind of interchangeable to me. One is more functional in an off-road sense. One is more functional in like a live-in-it sense. So I don't know, but that gets a big shout out. If I have that much money as an extra vehicle, that's really high on the list. If we're talking off-road, obviously there's a lot of street cars that I would take over these things too, which is a completely different story. But again, in a vacuum, someone says, here's $100,000. You have to spend it on a camping off-road rig. I might go sportsmobile. I think you can say,
I'm surprised that no vans made it to the list. The van kept getting kicked to the bottom. I had Van Tifa on my list before I deleted it, then deleted the Deuce and a Half.
It takes a special kind of person to want to be vanning all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're so fucking huge.
They're big.
They're huge.
So are Fusos.
Colin and I went on that trip.
Don't look at me, huh?
Well, those are world travel vehicles, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like a Fuso and things like that. Like that's for like full-time living world travel. Like you can do anything in it. Where a van,
I can put 200 days down
close,
and go to
but
South America.
Not quite the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They fit in a shipping container. You can just you can send them wherever you want, use them wherever you want.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a difference there.
Well, as a fun little quick thought experiment, Sean, if you had $100,000 to spend on a car, not an Overlander, I know all of us have probably thought about this for a second while doing this. What's your step? What's your number one?
It's really tied, unfortunately. I think I'm probably either going to buy. Are you going to make me, by that face, you're going to make me pick one?
No. You do whatever you want. You can fucking make your own bullshit decision. If you're going to make a bullshit decision, go ahead. You can pick two.
Wow. If I have to pick one, I'm going to buy as much 964 as I can for that money and modify it a little bit. If I can have an alternate, I'm going to buy probably a 996 GT3 because I think I could still find one for like 80 or 90, and I think that's about as much cool Porsche as you can get for $100,000 to like maximize your budget. I think maybe the 964 is kind of like a more car that's more me, because I'm not worried about taking it to track days and that kind of stuff, but like the GT3, especially the 996 GT3, it's weird and they weren't super popular. Like that car to me would be really cool for that kind of money. It's a good investment, which is boring and stupid and shouldn't matter about this kind of stuff.
It's a good investment.
And it's just real cool.
No one ever about any fucking car. You're lying to yourself, but
it's one that'll keep going up. So it's rare.
Yeah, because you're shoveling money into it.
Well, the catch is it goes up if you don't drive it or you barely drive it, right? That's the catch.
That's why we buy cars, is to just have them sit, right?
Not drive them.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd buy a 1972 Skyline GTR.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. That's a good one.
I think I could find one for anywhere from 85 to like 90 grand.
Yeah. You could do it. Yeah.
I like it.
Mike's trying to check my work here.
No, you're good.
How about you, Colin? Which RS2 are you going to get?
Right. I'd struggle to say no to a 912 and just like make it really nice and just but totally on its nuts and that's it, and just like enjoy the shit out of it because it's just a long Volkswagen Bug. But yeah, it'd be for me it'd be RS2 wagon, and it would like that's the end all be all for me, and then whatever's left over I'll just buy a bunch of NA Miatas because there'd be plenty left over.
Heck yeah. Yeah,
that's fair. Jesse?
Okay, Jesse.
I know I mentioned the RS6, but I do love them. But if I'm going to spend $100,000 on something I want for the rest of my life, it's going to be as much of an E30 M3 as I can get. I fucking love them. They are one of the most classic looking cars to me in my mind. It's that midpoint between like, the 3000 where it's just like, that looks old. And then the E36, which just looks like, I don't know, a boxy white trash meth nightmare. But somehow I still like them. But still,
I like them. Yeah.
I think done correctly, they are. It just I just feel like that the E36 got turned into the white trash. Like it was like for the kid that wanted to have a Honda but had more money, and so he got an E36 to be a little bit cooler.
It's more the hot boy, the hot boy drift missile guys that kind of ruined a lot of them because they turned them into drift missiles.
It kind of ruins it.
And then the teenager bought it after it was a drift missile for a year and a half.
Yeah. So the E30 M3 and as much of $100,000 as I can pump into that thing, whether I build it or I would prefer to build it because I love that portion of the process. I feel it's a very big connection to your vehicle instead of just buying $100,000 and saying, well, that's mine, put the key in it and turn it and go. I feel that the build is part of the connection. So anyway, yeah, that's my number one car.
Or you buy a car cool enough that your car guy buddies go, I'll help you work on that. And you go, okay.
What kind of comes to your 912?
Yeah,
Can I come help you work on that, Colin?
Mm-hmm.
So I...
no is the answer.
I took a slightly different approach. I'm going to buy the cheapest piece of property I can, pave it, and buy 5 $2,000 Miatas.
Okay, I'm down with this.
Yeah.
What if we
I thought about that long hard. I was like, what do I really want for a car? I want to go like do dumb shit with a bunch of my friends in convertibles. Yeah, I'm just going to pave the cheapest lot I can buy in fucking Lapine or Prineville or who cares? Prineville,
you can get
so cheaper.
No. Cheaper. Go to Milliken.
Well,
I was saying Christmas Valley.
Yeah, Christmas Valley.
That's a fucking flat.
There are no rules there.
No rules.
I don't want it to be covered in snow half the year, Yeah.
Well,
so
how about we just all pile our $100,000 together and buy the property and buy all the fun cars?
So what we're going to do is we're going to take this $100,000, we're going to invest it, and over a 10-year program, we're going to go ahead and turn that $100,000 into $100 million. Now, let me tell you why. It's a multi-level marketing scheme.
Does anybody know anything about Bitcoin? Can we do that?
No. You can't say scheme because then it comes off bad. It's just multi-level marketing. That's it.
Options.
Yeah. Multi-level marketing.
It's reverse funnel.
Yeah.
Reverse funnel.
Yeah. So you guys each give me $5,000 and you get 3 friends to give you $5,000 and we're all making money.